The Galactic Academy of Unity stood like a shining jewel above the blue curve of Earth. It was the first academy built for humans and aliens to live, learn, and train together. For Cadet Ethan Cole, it was both a dream and a nightmare. A dream, because he had always wanted to explore the stars, and a nightmare because he was about to share his room with an alien. When Ethan first arrived at the dorms, he dragged his heavy bags down a clean metallic hallway. The air smelled faintly of ozone, and light panels on the ceiling shifted colors as if greeting him. He had been told that every human would share quarters with someone from another world to promote understanding between species. He stopped at room 47A, his new home. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the room was half human, half something else. One side had a regular bed, a desk, and a chair. The other side glowed with strange floating crystals, soft light pulsing from them in rhythm. The temperature was slightly cooler and the air shimmered faintly as if invisible mist was moving. Then he saw her. A tall, slim figure stood near the glowing crystals. Her skin looked like polished glass, faintly transparent, with streams of light running beneath the surface. Her eyes were large, silver, and reflected everything around her. She looked fragile, but something about her posture showed confidence and intelligence. "Hello," Ethan said, uncertain. The alien tilted her head. A soft sound came from her. Oh, combination of music and hums, as if she was speaking in tones instead of words. Then a small device on her chest translated, "Greetings. I am Zira Enthal of Thalrun. You are the human called Ethan Cole." Her voice through the translator was calm, smooth, and oddly musical. Ethan tried to smile. "Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you." Zira blinked and her body glowed slightly brighter. "It is nice," she repeated, like she was testing the meaning of the word. He nodded awkwardly and started unpacking his clothes. She watched him, curious. Every time he moved, her glowing eyes followed. "You do not use biolight," she said, "huh? Your body emits no visible energy pattern. It is unusual." "Oh yeah," Ethan laughed nervously. "Humans don't really glow, we just sweat." She blinked again, trying to understand. "Sweat?" Ethan quickly waved his hands. "Forget it." The first few days were strange. Zira didn't sleep like he did. She entered a state of silent meditation, her body glowing faintly all night. She didn't eat food either. Instead, she absorbed energy from the light crystals in the wall. She spoke only when necessary, and when she did, it was always direct, precise, and confusing. Ethan tried to be polite, but living with her felt like living next to a quiet thunderstorm. Every move he made seemed to disturb the calm rhythm of her alien habits. One morning, everything changed. Ethan woke up late. The alarm had been blinking for half an hour, and his first class was in 10 minutes. He jumped out of bed, rushed to his closet, and began changing. He didn't realize that Zira, who had been meditating in the common area, had decided to check the human schedule board. As she entered the room, the door slid open automatically. Ethan turned and froze. He was halfway through putting on his uniform shirt. Zira stood in the doorway, her bright eyes blinking, light flickering across her body. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. Then she spoke. "Are you damaged?" Ethan groaned, pulling his shirt down as fast as he could. "No, I'm just getting dressed. You can't just walk in like that." She tilted her head, confused. "Why not?" I sensed no danger. "Because humans need privacy," he said, voice high with embarrassment. "Privacy?" she repeated, the translator humming. "This concept is strange. You hide your surface from others? Why?" Ethan sighed, his face red. "Because it's normal. It's just something humans do." Zira looked thoughtful. The glow from her body dimmed slightly, showing she was processing new information. "On Thalrun, we have no need to hide our forms. We are light. We have nothing to conceal." "Well," Ethan said, still trying to calm down, "humans are not light. We're flesh, and we have rules." She nodded slowly, then said something that made him laugh despite himself. Flesh seems complicated. Later that day, the awkward moment still hung between them. Ethan avoided eye contact during breakfast in the academy cafeteria. Zyra sat across from him, observing how he used utensils. She didn't eat, only listened. Finally, she said, "You were distressed earlier." Ethan sighed. "Yeah, it's just embarrassing. You wouldn't understand." "Perhaps I wish to," Zyra said softly. "If I am to live with a human, I should know what makes one embarrassed." He looked up, surprised by her tone. It wasn't cold or distant anymore. It was curious, almost gentle. "Well," he said, smiling a little, "humans feel embarrassed when something happens that we don't want others to see. It's part of emotion." "Emotion," she repeated. "We have none of this on Thalrun. We are logical. But I felt something when you shouted. Like static inside my light." Ethan blinked. "You mean you felt something?" She hesitated. "Perhaps confusion, discomfort. Is that emotion?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, that's the start of it." Zyra's body flickered faintly. "Strange. I do not dislike it." Over the next few days, their awkward start turned into something else. Curiosity. Zyra began asking Ethan about human customs, emotions, and body language. She even tried to mimic laughter after watching a comedy video he played. It came out as a series of musical beeps which made Ethan laugh so hard he almost cried. "You're learning fast," he said between laughs. "I am adapting," she said proudly. "Humor is pleasant." They started working together in training sessions. Zyra's logical precision matched Ethan's creative thinking perfectly. When they were assigned to fix a malfunctioning drone, Ethan suggested using tape and manual override, a simple idea that Zyra thought was primitive yet effective. "You humans find simple solutions to complex problems," she said one day. "It is admirable." Ethan smiled. Sometimes simple works best. But even as they grew closer, not everyone at the academy approved. Some alien cadets whispered that humans were impulsive and unrefined. One even told Zyra she should request a different roommate. Zyra didn't respond at the time, but later as they studied together, she told Ethan quietly, "Others think humans are too emotional to be partners in science." Ethan shrugged. "Maybe, but emotions are what make us fight for what's right." Zyra watched him, her bright eyes reflecting his determination. "You truly believe that?" "Yeah," Ethan said. "It's what makes us human." Zyra didn't answer, but her glow warmed slightly, like a soft light in the dark. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The stars shone outside the window, and he watched Zyra meditating near her crystals. Her glow flickered faintly, softer than usual, almost calm. He realized then that she wasn't just learning about humans, she was changing. And he couldn't help but wonder what kind of future this strange friendship might lead to. When Zyra opened her eyes, she looked at him and said, "Ethan, today I almost understood what you call embarrassment. But I also understood something else." "What's that?" he asked. "Connection." Ethan smiled. "Then I guess you're more human than you think." For the first time, Zyra's glowing mouth curved upward, not quite a smile, but close enough. Days at the Galactic Academy passed quickly after the first awkward week. Ethan Cole and Zyra Enthal were no longer just roommates. They were partners in training, working side by side in every science and exploration class. Their bond had grown stronger, built on curiosity and trust. Zyra had learned to understand humor, teamwork, and even the concept of friendship. Ethan, in return, had learned patience, respect, and how vast the universe truly was. Still, both knew that not everyone liked the idea of a human and a Thalrun working together. One morning, during their interspecies engineering class, Professor Valen, a tall, feathered alien from Corin Prime, announced the new assignment. "You will design a power relay system that can survive radiation storms. The best design will be installed in the Academy's energy core." Zyra's eyes lit up with excitement. This project will require precision and calculation, she said. Ethan grinned. And maybe a little human improvisation. They worked late into the night in their dorm room. Ethan's desk was covered in tools, wires, and half-finished models. Zira hovered beside him, her glowing fingers weaving light patterns in the air to form digital schematics. You humans build things by hand, she said. Why not just project the model? Because when I touch it, Ethan said, soldering a circuit, I can feel what works and what doesn't. Sometimes the best ideas come from mistakes. Zira tilted her head, intrigued. Mistakes. That word again. You speak of it as if it were valuable. It is, he said, smiling. Mistakes are how humans learn. Zira stared at him for a moment. Strange. On Thalrun, a mistake can end a life. We do not experiment, we calculate. But perhaps that limits us. She looked down at the circuit, her body glowing softly. Perhaps that is what makes humans different. The next day, they presented their design to the class. While most alien groups had built neat, perfect systems, Ethan and Zira's model looked simple, too simple. Some cadets laughed, but when Professor Valen tested it under simulated radiation, their system kept running perfectly. How is this possible? One alien asked. Ethan shrugged. Because we used carbon fiber layers instead of pure crystal. The radiation can't overload it. Valen nodded in approval. Simple but effective. A fine example of interspecies cooperation. Zira glowed proudly, and for the first time she felt something that might have been pride. Ethan nudged her shoulder. Told you simple works. That night the academy cafeteria was filled with noise and chatter. Zira and Ethan sat together at a corner table. Other cadets whispered and pointed. Why do they look at us like that? Ethan asked quietly. Zira's light dimmed slightly. Because Thalrun and human minds are too different. Many think our partnership is unnatural. Ethan frowned. That's stupid. We're just learning from each other. Logic does not always guide hearts, Zira said. Even among the stars. Before Ethan could answer, a group of alien cadets from the Droll species walked by. One of them smirked. Careful, human. Your light friend might melt your brain. Ethan stood up angry, but Zira placed a glowing hand on his arm. Do not fight. They seek reaction. He sat down slowly, still fuming. I hate bullies. Zira's silver eyes softened. On my world, emotions are seen as weakness. But here I see they give you strength. Ethan looked at her, surprised. You're starting to sound human. Perhaps, she said with a faint glow. Or perhaps humans are starting to sound more like me. A few days later, things took a dark turn. At 200 hours, alarms blared through the academy. The power grid flickered and the emergency lights turned red. Ethan jumped out of bed as the voice of the head instructor echoed through the halls. Alert! Unauthorized access detected in the main energy core. All cadets remain in quarters. Zira's eyes flashed. The energy core? That's where our relay design was installed. Ethan nodded. We need to see what's going on. Against orders, they sneaked out of the dorms. The hallways were filled with flickering lights and maintenance drones buzzed overhead. When they reached the observation deck, they saw the main power chamber glowing dangerously bright. Inside, sparks of energy lashed out, and several engineers were struggling to contain the overload. What happened? Ethan whispered. Zira focused her glowing eyes on the chamber. The relay system, someone modified it. Before they could move closer, security officers surrounded them. You two, step away from the window. Ethan raised his hands. We didn't do anything, but the officer interrupted. Your design was part of the core system. The sabotage pattern matches Thalrun energy coding. The alien is under suspicion. Zira stiffened. Her glow turned pale. That is impossible. I would never. Enough, the officer said coldly. You'll both come with us. Hours later, they sat in the investigation room. Zira remained silent, her light dim. Ethan paced the floor angrily. This is insane, he said. She wouldn't sabotage anything. The investigator, a human colonel, looked unimpressed. The energy pattern says otherwise. Ethan slammed his hand on the table. Then your pattern is wrong. Zira finally spoke, her voice soft. I understand why they suspect me. The energy signature comes from Thalrun technology. But you didn't do it. Ethan said. Zira looked at him. In your words, mistakes teach. But this mistake could destroy my name, and yours. Ethan took a deep breath. Then we'll prove it wasn't you. Zira blinked, confused. You would defend me even when your own people might blame you. He nodded firmly. You're my friend, Zira. That's what humans do. For the first time, Zira's glow brightened like a soft sunrise. Then I am grateful. That night, they escaped. It wasn't easy. Security drones patrolled the corridors and every door required clearance. But Ethan's quick thinking and Zira's light manipulation got them through. They hid inside the Academy's maintenance tunnels. Pipes hissed overhead, and the floor vibrated with the hum of engines. Ethan whispered, "We need proof. Something to show who really did it." Zira's body flickered. "If we access the power core logs, we may find the truth." "Then that's our plan," Ethan said. They reached the core chamber again through a maintenance shaft. Zira used her glowing fingers to override the security locks. Inside, the air shimmered with heat. The main reactor pulsed dangerously, its blue light unstable. Zira approached one of the panels and projected a stream of light from her palms. "Someone inserted a false sequence," she said. "This code is not Thalrune, it is Draal." Ethan frowned. "The same jerks from the cafeteria?" "Yes," Zira said. "They wish to frame me and perhaps start conflict between our species." "Then we expose them," Ethan said. "Send this data to the Academy network." Zira worked quickly, transferring the evidence. But before they could finish, a loud metallic sound echoed behind them. The Draal cadets appeared, their reptilian eyes gleaming. "We can't let you do that, human." Ethan stepped forward, fists clenched. "You're cowards trying to start a war for pride?" The Draal leader hissed. "Your kind doesn't belong here. Neither does your light toy." Zira's glow brightened sharply. "I am not a toy." The air hummed with tension. But before things could turn violent, Ethan grabbed a nearby power conduit and pulled a lever. The room filled with bright light, stunning everyone. "Run!" he shouted. They sprinted toward the exit, Zira lighting the path with her glowing hands. The Draal chased them, but the door sealed just in time. They collapsed in a quiet corridor, breathing hard. Zira looked at Ethan, her light dimming and flickering. "You risked yourself again, why?" He smiled, tired but proud. "Because that's what friends do." Zira's voice softened. "You are unlike any being I have met. On Thalrune, emotion is chaos, but in you it becomes strength. Maybe that's the secret of being human," Ethan said quietly. She touched his arm, her glow warm and steady. "Then perhaps I wish to learn more of it." Outside the window, Earth turned slowly below them. The Academy was still in chaos, unaware that two young cadets, one human, one alien, had just uncovered a conspiracy that could have destroyed everything. Zira looked at the stars and whispered, "Ethan, this is only the beginning." The corridors of the Galactic Academy were quiet now, but tension still hummed in the air. Ethan and Zira had uncovered the truth. The sabotage at the power core had been orchestrated by the Draal cadets. Their plan was to frame Zira, cause chaos, and drive a wedge between humans and Thalrune. Now the task was simple in theory, but dangerous in execution. They had to expose the Draal and stabilize the energy core before disaster struck. Ethan crouched behind a maintenance panel, holding a small device he had fashioned from spare parts. "We need to record everything," he whispered. "If the Academy sees proof, no one can blame you." Zira's light glowed faintly. "I will assist. My energy manipulation can access areas humans cannot." Together they crept into the reactor chamber. Sparks flew from malfunctioning panels and the core pulsed violently. Ethan scanned the logs with his makeshift device while Zira extended her glowing fingers to stabilize the main power stream. "This is delicate," Zira warned. "One wrong move could overload the core." Ethan nodded. "Then we do it my way, fast, creative, and careful." Inside the chamber, they encountered the Draal cadets again. The reptilian leader hissed, his claws clicking against the metal floor. "I warned you, human. Step aside." "I'm not stepping aside," Ethan said firmly. "You tried to start a war. That ends now." Zira's glow flared bright. "I will not allow harm to innocent beings." The Draal lunged. Ethan dodged, throwing a loose panel between them. Sparks flew, blinding their attackers momentarily. Zira moved like light itself, her glowing hands controlling the energy around them, creating a barrier that stunned the Draal without causing permanent harm. Ethan whispered urgently, "Zira, focus the energy through me. We can reach the core console faster." Her eyes flickered and she complied. Light flowed through Ethan's device and together they accessed the core logs. The evidence was clear. The Draal cadets had inserted false codes into the relay system, attempting to blame Zira and ignite conflict. Ethan turned to the Draal leader. "We have proof. Your plan is exposed. Surrender now or face consequences," the Draal hissed, realizing they were caught. They tried to escape, but Zira extended her glowing hands, creating a shimmering barrier that prevented them from leaving. She didn't harm them, but they could not pass. A security alarm sounded. The Academy personnel were coming, alerted by the energy fluctuations. The Draal had no choice but to surrender. With the Draal cadets secured, Ethan and Zira focused on stabilizing the power core. It was still dangerously unstable. Zira's body glowed brighter than ever, energy flowing from her crystalline form into the core. "Zira, you're overloading yourself," Ethan shouted. "I can handle it," she said, her voice steady but strained. "But you must assist. Your human improvisation, it may stabilize the feedback," Ethan thought quickly. He connected his device to the core, improvising a carbon-based energy loop that could absorb excess energy. It was risky. One mistake could destroy both of them, but there was no other choice. Together, human creativity and alien precision worked in perfect harmony. Light and energy danced around the chamber, flowing between them as if the universe itself watched. Slowly, the core stabilized. Sparks dimmed, the hum softened, and the chamber returned to normal. Exhausted, they collapsed to the floor. Zira's glow flickered, then settled into a soft, steady light. Ethan's clothes were scorched in places, and his hair stood on end. Zira looked at him, eyes reflecting relief and something else. Admiration. "Ethan, you risked yourself for me. No human I have known would do this." "I told you," Ethan said, smiling faintly. "That's what friends do. That's what humans do." Zira's light brightened. "Then I understand now. The strength of humanity." For the first time, she allowed herself a gesture close to a smile. "You have changed me, Ethan Cole, in a way I did not expect." Ethan chuckled softly. "Glad to hear it. But I think we make a good team, don't we?" The Academy authorities arrived shortly after. The Draal cadets were taken into custody, and the logs clearly showed their guilt. Zira's name was cleared. Professor Valen approached them, smiling. "Remarkable work," he said. "You two demonstrated ingenuity, courage, and teamwork beyond expectation. The Academy will not forget this." Other cadets looked on, some in awe, some in disbelief. Zira's peers from Thalrun approached her. One whispered, "You trusted a human?" She nodded. "Yes, and together we saved the Academy." Even the skeptical humans now looked at Zira with newfound respect. The impossible friendship between a human and a Thalrun had proven its worth. In the following days, life at the Academy returned to a calmer pace. Ethan and Zira continued their training, but now with recognition and trust from all sides. Zira began to explore more human experiences. She laughed at jokes, helped Ethan cook simple meals, and even tried music for the first time. Her glowing form now flickered with traces of human energy, subtle but beautiful. Ethan noticed it. "You're glowing differently," he said one evening while they studied together. "Perhaps," she replied softly. "I carry a part of human spirit now." He smiled. "And that spirit is pretty amazing." One quiet night they sat by a large observation window, looking down at Earth. Cities sparkled like constellations, oceans shimmered under moonlight, and the Academy itself glowed softly in the distance. Zira turned to Ethan. "When I first walked in on you," she paused, the light across her crystalline form dancing, "I thought humans were strange. Now I see that humans have courage, creativity, and compassion. Perhaps you're the galaxy's greatest hope." Ethan laughed softly. "All it took was a little friendship and a lot of improvisation." Zira's light pulsed gently. "Then I'm grateful. For both." Their story spread across the Academy. The bond between human and alien became a symbol, not of difference but of possibility. Classes now included cooperative exercises designed to combine alien precision with human intuition. The Academy learned a lesson that no one could forget. Sometimes, the most unexpected pairings reveal the greatest strength. Ethan and Zira continued their adventures, learning from one another, testing boundaries and growing together. In a universe full of unknowns, they had discovered a simple truth. Courage, compassion, and curiosity could bridge even the widest of gaps. And perhaps, just perhaps, Humanity had a little more light to offer the stars than anyone had realized.